Yes! Moonwalker! That's no moon!
Welcome to a brand new episode of The Completionist, and today, guys, I want to share a little story with you. After our panel this year at MagFest, I ran into a gentleman named Max, who at the time was cosplaying as the King of Pop, Michael Jackson. He was so committed to that cosplay and asked so nicely that I reviewed today's game. So Max, this one's for you like I promised. Also for Michael Jackson. Didn't catch that one. I tried. Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Supposedly this game is based on the hit movie Moonwalker, which is a random and very oddly paced film about Michael Jackson's achievements. But here's a fun thing I just want to throw out there. I love Michael Jackson's music. He's an icon, a legend, regardless of what people thought he was like in his personal life. And he will always be the king of pop.
But Buildman, why are you doing another retro game? You should do Destiny. You should do The Sims 4. You should do Shovel Knight.
We already did Shovel Knight. Also, we do all types of games, not just retro. Also, it's Michael freaking Jackson, and he would have celebrated his 56th birthday last month. So stop being bad, just look at the man in the mirror and beat it.
I see what you did there. Also, that's gross.
As I said earlier, Moonwalker was based on the movie that randomly chronicles the success and talents of Michael Jackson. But there's no plot to the film, so how does one take a non-existent plot from a movie and decide to make a game out of it? Well, Moonwalker for the Sega Genesis is actually based off the arcade title of the same name.
As well as the Bond movie. Wait, that's Moonraker.
The arcade title is an isometric beat-em-up that stars Michael Jackson battling his way through stages that are somewhat inspired by the film. That's really a tall order because with the Moonwalker film, it's just a combination of different music videos and vignettes of his career, with a dash of some original pieces of staged work. However, during the Smooth Criminal segment of the film, we've got an actual plot that features Michael Jackson fighting the crazy psychopathic drug kingpin Mr. Big and his deadly goons, who apparently capture children, force them to take and promote drugs, and beat them. I kid you not, this hitting segment gets a little too real and it goes on for way too long.
Dear Lord, whatever does Michael Jackson do?
Turns into a gigantic galactic robot that blasts them all into smithereens, and then he turns into a spaceship, and then he fights with Mr. Big in space combat, and eventually, Michael Jackson wins.
Jesus, Gerard, spoilers!
Greg, this segment's not even that long in the movie.
Spoilers.
The Genesis version is no different in terms of plot, but they both share one important detail. They both don't explain a damn thing to you. So without context, you end up playing as Michael Jackson trying to save kidnapped children who scream, "Michael!" when you save them.
Michael!
Well, at least you're having a good time.
You get to play as Michael Jackson, beat up thugs, rescue children, and rock out to Michael Jackson tunes. Sounds like the 80s to me, and I'm down.
I gotta say, man, I love the Genesis, but compared to the arcade version, it's so watered down. The console version is missing the single coolest attack from the arcade version, the dance party.
You can still do the dance party move in the Genesis version, but you're right, it's way cooler in the arcade version.
That and simultaneous multiplayer, better graphics, and more variety in the overall gameplay, but mainly the dance party.
Both the Genesis version and the arcade version of the games were developed internally by Sega. The arcade version did have another publisher on board named Triumph. So yes, this would be considered a first-party title.
We shall call our company Triumph. Our first order of business is to crush the future Genesis version of our own game.
The design and concept of this game rests on the shoulders of Michael Jackson himself. This was his creation, and everyone tried as best as they could. It's actually really funny. The sound effects of Michael constantly yelling, "Woo!" like he does is awesome. Every level starts out with an image of Michael Jackson saying, "Woo!" I think based on the credits, not too many people were proud of this game. I know back in the day, people were ashamed to have worked on some games they developed, so they create nicknames, and it was very common. And this game, for the most part, was received poorly. Woo! In terms of visuals, there's nothing really to gawk at. To be fair, there's a lot of weird Genesis titles that can exemplify how poorly designed a game can be. I appreciate the handspark animations every time you attack in any and all directions, and the visual effect that happens when you rescue a child and she screams, "Michael!" is entertaining to say the least.
Michael! Yeah? Get the f out.
For Genesis covers of Michael Jackson classics, these are pretty good. I wish there were more tracks altogether, especially since this game is surprisingly lengthy for what it is. Moonwalker's tracks include Smooth Criminal, Beat It, Another Part of Me, Billie Jean, and Bad. And while the music is great, the sound effects definitely remind you of the limitations of the Genesis.
Not to mention a massive missed opportunity by not having Thriller play in the graveyard level.
Funny you mentioned that, Greg. Even though the level should have Thriller, in some versions of the game, it actually does. It turns out that Thriller was written by someone else alongside Michael Jackson, and due to copyright infringement, it was switched for something else.
For all the game's simplistic faults, I find it super endearing. I never played it before, and it seems bad all over, but sometimes bad games are still good. You know what I mean?
What?
But your kids are gonna love it.
Speaking about bad, try this one on for size. Cause Greg is bad, I'm bad, Jamona. You know Greg's bad, I'm bad, can't do it. Cause Greg is bad, I'm bad, Jamona. Can't play, and the whole world has to answer right now just to tell you once again, Greg's bad.
Moonwalker is a beat-em-up, but I wouldn't really call it that. Is there another term for maybe a dance-em-up or a magic-em-up? Both sound horrible, but Michael Jackson as a fighter does not actually physically touch his enemies. He has a few limited attacks. His main attack is his kick. He does that Chimona kick, and glitter shoots everywhere. He does his high post glitter hit, and he can get down on his knees and throw glitter out of his hands. I wish it was a bit easier to describe. But I didn't do too bad! And yes, if you hold down your attack button while holding back, you'll do the moonwalk.
Another missed opportunity. The moonwalk should have been an ultimate attack or something.
Well, there is a special hat-throwing attack, but it does do self-inflicting damage. There are a total of 5 worlds with 3 levels in each of them. Not too bad for the length of the game. The game shows random transitions between levels and chapters. For example, Michael Jackson turns into a car.
Speaking of turning into cars, Michael Bay, Michael Jackson turns into a super fighting robot.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Want to know something else that's going to make you ask why?
Sure.
When you've saved all the children, Bubbles, which was one of Michael Jackson's chimpanzees, appears, jumps on your shoulder, and awkwardly points to where the boss is.
Why?
Exactly.
Cause Greg is bad, I'm bad, Jamona.
This game lacks evolution. The gameplay stays the same in every single level. No power-ups, no new moves, nothing. Just saving the children, Bubbles telling you where to go next, and then Mr. Big showing up to tell you that you'll never find him. The only thing that evolves at all is the difficulty, because it's just a matter of getting overwhelmed by enemies. And these enemy designs are references to different Michael Jackson videos. Boss fights are not too creative either. Again, their solution for making it challenging is to fill the screen with tons of enemies, or maybe a boss that's the same sprite but a different color while the screen fills with even more enemies still. Overall, this game appears to be what some would call a train wreck.
But it's a train wreck that we appreciate. It's hilarious to go back and play this game. I am enjoying myself.
Surprisingly, so am I. After you freed all the children and had Bubbles point you in the right direction, fought all the bosses / they're not bosses, and you've transformed into Mecha Michael Jackson, it is time to have the final showdown with the drug kingpin, children kidnapping, spider enthusiast Mr. Big. But before we go after Mr. Big, we need to turn into a spaceship and chase after him.
You know, that sounds like fun. Oh god, I think I'm gonna be sick.
No doubt, this is the worst part of the game. This first-person spaceship simulator goes wrong real fast. The sound effects are also super hard on the ears, but luckily, it's pretty easy. Now, there's no real completion bonus, but there are cheat codes to do level selects, 15 lives, as well as a few more. Think about these cheat codes as you witness Michael Jackson dance with the kid version of himself as the credits roll. There's no struggle. This game is very easy, and if you're even lazier than the average person, just type in a code to go to the last level and win. Well, the boss in the graveyard's pretty tough, but other than that, no real challenge. But hey, what am I saying? This game might be rough, but we get to play as the King of Pop in all of its corny late 80s glory.
Ever wanted the experience of playing as Michael Jackson? Well then, this game is the way to go. I think. You can also play this one. Don't play that.
Michael Jackson's Moonwalker is a game. It's a game that has buttons, and you control Michael Jackson to save young children from creepy old dudes. Okay, yeah, look, this game is pretty crappy, but you know what? It is an experience that I recommend. It's this type of bad that is so good because it's bad, like The Room. So, with that in mind, this game gets my completionist rating of, look at it.
Look at it! And after you look at it, be sure to subscribe. Missed out on last week's episode on Earthworm Jim? Give it a click right here. And if you want to get caught up on Los Completionistas, here's our episode on Shovel Knight. Back to you, Gerardo.
That's all the time we have for today, guys. So as always, leave your thoughts somewhere on the internet. Facebook, Twitter, Tamblegram, all that great stuff. Speaking of great things, live right now on ThatOneVideoGamer.com, we have a Spotify playlist just for you guys for 10 songs by Michael Jackson to listen to while you're playing Moonwalker. It's awesome. These songs are going to be prepared for you each and every week for every game we complete. It's going to be a fun thing. And yeah, so every Friday, check out in the description below. Give it a clickety-clack. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy it. Now, if you excuse me, who's bad? Yeah, take a guess. It's Greg.
Cause Greg is bad, I'm bad, Jamona. You know Greg's bad, I'm bad, can't do it. Cause Greg is bad, I'm bad, Jamona. Can't play, and the whole world has to answer right now just to tell you once again, Greg's bad.